the Islamic Republic is doing so much damage by making fun of Trump and saying that he can't do anything, that they're actually going to push Trump to intervene on behalf of the Iranians. I think that we should listen to somebody who really does understand it. Jonathan Conricus, who kind of knows a lot about what's going on, and he's about to give us a rundown about all the things that are currently happening.
Well, let me ask you, what kind of action could we expect? It does seem as if at this stage, perhaps the U.S. won't be targeting Khamenei himself personally, though we never know with President Trump. But what kind of action do you anticipate?
Well, at this stage, I think that the U.S. will have a pretty wide availability of different tools and different actions. I don't think that we will see a Maduro operation, because it is much more difficult to get into Iran and get beyond layers of defense in order to actually apprehend a leader. So I would put that aside. And I don't think that we're going to see ground units. I think that we will see eventually standoff fire from aerial platforms, from naval platforms that will hit specific targets that are related to the oppression of the Iranian people. The Basij headquarters, the IRGC headquarters, and other key nodes of command and control, and really the centers of power of the Iranian regime, the same forces that have been basically mowing down Iranians on the streets. We're looking at everywhere between 8 and 15,000 people, depending on different reports. We know that thousands have been murdered, mowed down on the streets. I assume that these will be the forces that will be the first target, and then anticipated Iranian retaliation, whether it's against American troops and assets in the region, and if it includes Israel or not, we'll have to wait and see. And then a follow-up, which I think will indeed target the supreme leader Khamenei himself, and actually aim by military force to bring down the regime and to allow the protesters who have been out on the streets day in, day out, but then mow down in the most brutal fashion, to give them the cavalry is here and let them know that now is a time to actually take back their country and free themselves from 47 years of the Islamic regime's horrible oppression of the Iranian people.
And how do you expect the regime to react, certainly to an initial attack, like the restrained, almost symbolic response we saw last year, or something more serious that, of course, is likely to target Israel?
Well, I think that the U.S. and probably also Israel will be watching that very closely, watching for the indicative signs of opening of silos, preparation of launching of ballistic missiles, and anything that will be indicative of Iranian intentions to fire towards Israel or to fire towards major U.S. assets. If that happens, Israel and the U.S. will have capabilities at hand in order to preempt that. So I don't know exactly what the Iranians will do. I think they have a pretty limited toolbox available, as opposed to a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, we would have been talking about the entire region, about Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, and proxies in Syria. But today they're left with missiles and the IRGC and perhaps overseas attacks, none of which are going to save the Iranian regime from what is coming, what I believe is coming, and that is an onslaught on the headquarters, the command and control, and the ability of the Iranian regime to continue to oppress the Iranian people.